What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Nolan TCG, and we are back here today for another deck profile, and this time it's for my GOAT deck. So this is a 2005 Chaos kind of GOAT control mixed together. We're doing this as a bit of a special one because the ban list is due anytime soon, and I'm going to try and get into the habit of, like, when the ban list is due, we're going to look at past formats. And my current deck that I use for past format play is GOATs, because pretty much everyone at my locals has a GOAT deck that they, like, can pick up and mess around with. So we all just kind of have them. And yeah, we have one thick extra deck. If you've been around on the channel for a while, you've seen my GOAT profiles in the past. Obviously in 2005, well, not obviously, it's something that's not really known, is that there was no limit on what you could play in your extra deck. So I play like everything possible. So we'll get into that as we go. We'll talk about the stuff that is actually necessary, and we'll get into this deck profile. But as always, before we do get started, please remember to drop down below and hit that subscribe button if you are new here, because we are always happy to have new people to the channel. And let's get on into the deck profile. Okay, first off, starting us off, we have, of course, the cards that are incredibly important, and that is your 5 Spiel marks. Really, you just need the 4 Spiel mark, but we have a Stray Lamb Spiel mark. So, we have these guys. They're always necessary. You must always be playing at least 4 of them. And then we get into the main deck. But starting us off, we have the 1 copy of BLS Envoy of the Beginning. It's Chaos. You banish. This card does good things. You should just be playing it if you're playing like any kind of Chaos variant in GOAT. For our Big Dark, we are also playing Jinzo. It's just a cool card that you can tech in. I like to play it because you just tribute it, summon over some stuff, and it really makes your opponent's day a little annoying. They have to, like, forces them to deal with this in other ways, and you can, like, kind of build your resource game behind it. And of course, the other Chaos card that I probably should have put before the Jinzo, I'm playing 1 copy of Chaos Sorcerer. Effectively is just, it's Chaos, so you just play these guys. Then for our other big light, I'm playing 1 copy of Airknight Parshath. This is just our tribute summonable light. When it attacks and does damage, you get the draw, does piercing, good card. The reason why I have a Japanese is because I just wanted every card to be foiled where I could get it foiled, so we're playing a Japanese copy. After that though, we are playing 3 copies of Thunder Dragon. This is here because you do have a lot of discard outlets. Stuff like Graceful Charity is like in the format, of course, so Thunder Dragon adding itself to get that extra discard isn't terrible. Also is lights that you can fill up in your graveyard, and then you can use the Chaos package a little bit more effectively. For our lights, though, that we do play that are, like, summonable, normal summonable, we play 1 copy of DD Warrior Lady, just there for a bit of banishing. We have 1 copy of Azura Priest for clearing out GOAT tokens, and then we play 2 copies of Mystical Elf. I've only ever seen this card in Japanese for the longest time now. I just always stare at this, so, I'm fairly sure it's Mystical Elf. It's not Mystical Elf. It's Magician of Faith. Yes, that is correct. Let's just completely gloss over that fact because I've just been looking at a Japanese one for probably about 2 years now. We get into our Darks. So for our Darks, we're playing 1 copy of Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. He's just here to clear out your opponent's graveyard and try and turn off their strategy if they're playing Chaos. You have 1 copy of Breaker the Magical Warrior because it's back row removal. There's not a lot of that going around in this format, so it's pretty important to have a Breaker. And 1 Tsukiyomi for our other level 4 Dark, just because it gets you those books and you can use your flip effects quite effectively. As well as 1 Sangan. So this is our other Dark. Sangan just searches pretty much everything in the deck, so you have 1 of it floating around. Good GOAT card. Then for our like non-light or dark kind of tech options, I'm playing 1 copy of DD Assailant again for that banishing. I've got 1 copy of Tribe Infecting Virus for clearing problem stuff and a whole board of goats. 1 copy of Morphing Jar for the cheese. I just want to be able to like flip Morphing Jar, discard my hand, draw 5 cards. Fun time. I used to play Cyber Jar in this as well, but I have since cut it. And then the 1 copy of Sinister Serpent because it can just recycle itself a whole lot. That's it for our like monster lineup. So now we get into our spells, and you have a lot of powerful spells in here. Of course, we have Pot of Greed, one of the best power spells in the format. So you always got to be playing this. Typically, the next 5 cards every deck should be playing. So it's 1 copy of Pot of Greed, 1 copy of Graceful Charity, of course. Draw cards, ban list is a thing. 1 copy of Deli Duo, just there to rip cards out of your opponent's hand and get advantage. 1 Heavy Storm for clearing all the back row you can. 1 Snatch Steal for taking your opponent's stuff. And 1 Pre-Mat for that Monster Reborn. So like, these are typically 6 cards you'll see in every GOAT deck. Pre-Mat's like not super necessary, but you'll odds on see all of those. Then we get into the more of our spells. We've got Scapegoats, 2 of them. I play a 2-3 ratio of Scapegoat to Metamorphosis. If you do feel like you want to mix it up and you're playing goat control, of course, you can go a 3-2 ratio if you do want to go that line. I probably don't normally recommend playing 3-3 though. It can be a bit cloggy. But yeah, I do have, of course, after that, the 3 copies Metamorphosis like we discussed. Summons this entire thick-ass extra deck out of everything, so you just drop it all down. Then for the rest of our spells, we have 1 copy of MST. It's at 1, so you just get 1 of it. 1 copy of Swords of Revealing Light. I actually think this is also on the ban list, so fun times. 1 copy of Knock. You always got to knock the table. I think I just might have messed up the microphone, but oh well. Yeah, so 1 copy of Knock. You can play 2 of this. It's at 2, so that's an option. But I normally just play 1. 1 Lightning Vortex, and then 1 Book of Moon come after that. So we have typically our Regeki. It does have a cost, of course. And then Book of Moon, because it's a good card. You just like flip stuff face down. Lets you turn on so many effects, like your Thousand Eyes can just get booked. You detach the material, flip it back up, attach again. Good times. And then we get into our trap cards. So I play 1 copy of Mirror Force. Of course, Mirror Force for game. 1 Magic Cylinder. You don't normally see this running around, but it is a super cheesy, so I play 1 copy of Magic Cylinder. 1 copy of Call of the Haunted for that Reborn. Gets you momentum back. 1 copy of Torrential, because this can be a blowout sometimes, and you can really just like steal momentum. And then 1 copy of Ring of Destruction after that. Gets you that burn damage, weakens your opponent down, and you can really start to threaten game. Okay, now we get into this thick extra deck. We are just going to kind of gloss over the useless stuff because it doesn't really have much of an application. First off, most important, you want to be playing 3 copies of Thousand Eyes Restrict for your Metamorphosis targets. Yeah, I just kind of play a plain mix of what I can look at. Then for some meaningless stuff, we've got 1 Fire Knight, 1 Flame Ghost, 1 Dragoness the Wicked, 1 Fusionist, so those are our 3s. For 4s, we've got a Carbonala Warrior, Darkfire Dragon. Then for 5s, we've got Flower Wolf, Guilty D-Knight, Fiend Skull Dragon, Dark Bolt of the Terrible, actually a very useful card in the format, so you can consider that. Definitely pick this up if you're building goats. 1 Kaminari Attack, 1 Deep Sea Shark, 1 Musician King. Witch of the Black Forest is a fusion material for this, that's why the card got banned. And then we have 1 Flame Swordsman after that. Still going through the 5s because there are a lot of 5 options. Another card that's very good to have, it's Reaper on the Nightmare. Then 1 Cybersaurus, and that is it for our 5s. So, of this, Reaper on the Nightmare and Dark Bolt of the Terrible are like the 2 probably most important cards I'd say you need out of the 5s to have, so do pick those up if you're planning on building like any form of like goat control build. Then for our 6s, we have 1 copy of Flame Wingman. I thought I bought just an English secret rare version of this. I lost it though, so sad times. I'm still playing the Japanese one, but it still looks quite nice with the prismatic effect. This is like the last cards to come out in the format is like this and Thunder Giant. They're like the 2 last fusions that you can play. Then we have 1 Sandwich. This is the reason why Sangan and Witch of the Black Forest is still banned, because you can sandwich. They're not banned today though. You can make sandwich all you like. This card is now legal again. Scary times. Then we have, of course, Ryu Senshi, Dark Flare Knight, 1 Muki King, 1 Super Robo Lady, but backing that up, I did not have the Super Robo Yaru next to it because you want to be able to transition between the 2. Then 1 Roaring Ocean Snake, 1 Punished Eagle, 1 Darkblade the Dragon Knight, not a terrible card to be playing, 1 Empress the Judge, 1 Rabbit Horseman, 1 Ojama King, 1 Metal Dragon, some stuff you can't make in XZ Tank Cannon, YZ Tank Dragon, and XY Dragon Cannon. You have no way to summon these at all. The card that is one of the last 2 cards that I needed to like properly add to my collection, and it is this. It's the TP1 Hercules Kawaga, or Kawaga Hercules. This is the Spanish version, I believe. This was surprisingly difficult for me to get a hold of. I'd been wanting it for a very, very long time, and I finally decided to pick it up. Of course, the card that is the other card that I need to add to my collection, as I've just lost a light, apparently, we've just gone dead on 1 light, is the Warrior of Tradition. Card is like impossible to find, and everything lately that I can find is graded, so I'd very much like to get like a non-graded version of this. It's significantly cheaper, but finding this is very difficult. As we get into more of our stuff, we have 1 copy of Gaia the Dragon Knight, Gaia the Dragon Champion. I'll try and run through this because our lights are apparently going flat. So we've got 1 Gaia the Dragon Champion, 1 Skull Knight, 1 Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon, Last Warrior from Another Planet. It's tough to make, but sometimes it can come up on a Snatch Steal target that you can make this. 1 Bakuri Box, 1 Saint Joan, 1000 Dragon, 1 Labyrinth Tank, 1 Humanoid Wormdrake, 1 King Dragoon, 1 XYZ Dragon Cannon, 1 Gatling Dragon, another card that's actually like somewhat useful in the format, 1 Black Skull Dragon, 1 Dark Paladin, a Master of Oz, and then finally, I don't know why this card was at the back, but it's 1 copy of Elemental Hero Thunder Giant. But that wraps up here for the deck profile for this one. I do apologize for the light going flat halfway through. I definitely thought I had enough charge to get through this, but I did not. As always though, I've been Ben from Nolan TCG, and have a good afternoon everybody.